sit back in your seats, get something to eat, and watch this movie. Don't let the kiddies see it, because, well, we'll let you hear the beginning first. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, guys. Welcome to Closet Chat. I'm Sunny.
I'm Rainy.
So, guys, it might have been. It's been life has been a bit hectic
for the past month.
No kidding, more like the past 2 months.
Oh yeah,
good lord.
Last month we were barely able to get one episode out, and then we had to go disappear off the face of the planet for a hot minute. Well, at least for podcasts, we had to disappear for a second.
Life got pretty busy on my end. Work got hectic. Just a lot of just unfortunate drama happened. So I was just trying to go on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, just trying to make it through.
Yeah, but how are you doing, my co-host, Rainy?
Well,
how are you?
I've just been all over the place, because my job also had me going all over the place. Also been working on multiple stuff behind the scenes. Also been working on some stories. I also turned 26, which was great.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, it's like
happy birthday, Mr. President.
So as of this recording, it's been a week since I turned 26. It's just been fun.
Being adults is fun.
Yeah, and then I came to the realization that I'm 4 years from hitting 3 decades on this planet.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, I know, because
for me it's 5 years.
I know.
That can go by so fast.
I know.
Anyways, let's talk about stuff that makes us feel young, riled up, energetic. Back when we were kids, our favorite TV shows, favorite comics, maybe superheroes.
Oh.
I don't know about y'all, but when I was a kid, my favorite superhero was Spider-Man.
Oh, mine too. I would watch all the cartoons that were available.
I remember watching the 90s one.
Oh my god.
It was very popular in Ukraine for a while.
Oh yeah. I remember watching all the Spider-Man movies. Amazing. Well, that actually segues into what we're going to talk about for this episode.
Yeah, so I would say you guys should be aware at this point, but Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse just recently came out. Probably last month?
Last month, yeah.
About last month, give or take. So, yeah, and it had a pretty huge, I would say, ripple effect all across.
Oh, yeah.
There's been a boom in creativity. I would say, the movie, I think it's revolutionary in terms of animation and art.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, the story was amazing, too.
Yeah. If you guys can't tell, we saw it.
We love it. Yeah, literally on my birthday after I finished my 5-hour shift, which was fun. But we went to watch it, and then for a whole week, we've been simmering it.
Yeah, it's the kind of movie, at least for myself, where it's a pretty long movie. It's a lot of stuff packed into it, and honestly, I there's so much goodness. It's great. I don't think there was really anything that struck me that was off or unnecessary. It was good. However, there's so much contained that I couldn't even formulate an opinion or thought after the movie because it was so overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's an experience.
It is. Oh my god. And oh my god, it actually got me into wanting to get back into an old project back in college that I started, which was a multiverse crossover. Now it kind of makes me want to do that. Mm-hmm. Once I get everything else sorted out.
Once again, it really draws out the creativity out of people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, people, artists are making, spider sonas, which I think is really fun. And it's just, I don't know, I think it's really great to see, the effect it has on, everyone. But yeah, so overall we both think it's good. We're trying to like stay in spoiler free territory at the moment. So do you have any thoughts?
I can say as someone who did grow up with Spider-Man, I did love it because I saw so many references to Spider-Man throughout the years. From comics, from video games, from movies, from cartoons, and I was just like, "Oh my god, they had to really like just to get these in, they would probably have to get like a Hi? Hello? Sunny?"
Been a while, okay?
Okay.
Sorry guys, I forgot to turn off my phone.
Oh, trying to get back into things and oh, okay, sorry.
I usually have my phone like permanently on silent, so I'm like not used to having to turn it on silent.
Yeah.
Sorry, but continue.
Okay.
You were talking about all like the references and
Yes.
characters.
Yes, like oh my god, I would imagine the people who had to work on the film, they had to get Sony, Disney, and probably Marvel to all agree on doing all of this stuff because
Well, so Marvel is owned by Disney at this point.
it is, but they also have some things that like Disney, they are like Disney can't touch this.
Yeah.
There's some things that Disney won't touch, but like they had to get like all three companies to agree, like, hey, we want to make references to everything that's come out about Spider-Man throughout the years. Can we put references to these movies, to these video games, to these cartoons? Can we do that? And they got the green light to do that, which was so amazing because I'm pretty sure, given the chance, if we were in the movie theater, if we were in like at home, I probably would be pointing out every single Spider-Man reference, which I know you would get annoyed very quickly. Don't hide it. You will.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like, then again, I feel like on my end, if I could like mess with it or pause it, like I'd be pausing every frame.
Oh yeah,
just
me
because I
too.
want to study it.
Yeah, me too. Because like there was like so many references, and it was like, oh my god, that is
See,
insane.
for me, it's not even just the references. It's just purely like artistic. Like when you can pause every single damn frame, and it is like a fucking piece of art.
Yeah,
Like from the background to the way that like so there's the really cool thing is that I feel like this movie is very experimental in terms of animation. Of course, you have like all different types of styles for different characters, different like it's across Spider Verse. I'm pretty sure we already all know that is kind of inner like multiverse type deal. So it's really cool because with that you have the flexibility to like just go balls to the walls with like animation, art, style, like coloring, like color palettes. We're all over the damn place, and I loved it so much.
yeah, and then of course there's also there was 2D, 3D. There was even a little bit of live action in that movie.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're looking at it, you're just like you can't like you can tell that it's mostly in 3D, but you can see that each Spider-Man has a different style to them, and that you can tell that this Spider-Man comes from a world that is mostly 3D, like live action, or 3D or 2D. It's like you can just tell by how much care they put into animating each of them.
Yeah, and it's great because some of them is like a little bit rougher, where you can still see like some of the sketching over the characters, and I think it's so like it's gritty, but in a way where it feels like it's perfected.
Yeah, like
Purposeful grits is what I'd call it.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my god. And like, oh my god, some Spider-Man, I was just like, oh my god, you're here. I love you for being here.
And not only like all of that, but I also feel like the story is pretty good. Like I feel like it feels very natural. It comes like full circle from beginning to end. There's like good use of like parallels. And I feel like you get to see the characters like develop over time too on both like, I would say it pretty much follows like the perspective of Gwen and Miles. I would say, and that's as much as I'll say for now, but I think they did a good job of it.
Oh yeah.
So I'm pretty excited to see how it will be in the third movie. I think it'll be let's just say we were shook
Yes.
by the ending.
Yes. I think
I mean, I don't think anybody expected that there would be a third movie too, right?
it was hinted that there would be a third movie.
Well, the original title used to be different, right? For the Across the Spider Verse. It had a different title.
Did it?
Yeah, it.
I know the first movie was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. However, it's hold on.
Oh, Sunny's pulling out the research. Yeah, I don't know because I was told that we were gonna because like they said that the movie was so long that they had to split it into 2 movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was always told that it was gonna be 3 movies in total.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. I guess you cut all of that. I don't know. Well, anyways, like somebody told me that it was it had gone under a different name. That did imply that it was the second film and there's going to be a third one. I don't know, something like along the lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, yeah, there definitely is going to be a third movie called Beyond the Spider Verse, right?
Yeah. Oh my god! Like I'm so excited for what's gonna happen because I'm like, where can they go from this? Because
Yeah.
there's only 2 ways. It can go really, really great, or really, really bad.
In terms of story or just like quality?
Story.
Yeah, I I think it's gonna go good because at the end of the day, I think that is the point that despite the hardships, you are able to create your own story. It's about breaking out of society's like rules that are like forced on people where it's like, it doesn't have to be applied to them if they take it into their own hands.
Yeah.
So I would say like that's the general theme, I think, of the entire trilogy. So I have hope that I mean, I definitely think it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
So yeah. I
Mm.
guess going from that, would you want to go ahead and start going towards spoiler territory?
Sure.
So yeah, overall guys, I would give the movie an A plus. I think it's the best movie of the year, honestly.
It is like. Oh, I'm sorry. My dog nephew's in the room with us because we're the only ones in the building, and he's being huffy. But that's fine. That's fine.
I like how you call your house a building. You make it sound like we're in a big ass like building.
I don't know. That's just the first word that came out of my head.
You're like, yeah, we're in a fucking building. Like my job, like we work in a fucking building. We work in a tower, so imagining we're at a tower.
I'm sorry. I don't know. My brain's scrambled at this point.
But yeah, so okay, guys, so if you want to avoid spoilers, I highly recommend that y'all see the movie yourselves because it is beautiful. I think it is worth seeing it and worth experiencing it. So please go see it if you haven't already.
Yes. And also, after our review, we're going to be talking about something else. We probably will have some. I don't know if in the video we probably will have a timestamp of where it's going to be, but just to let you guys know, after reviewing the movie, we're going to talk about something else happening behind the scenes for Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, would you like to go first?
Yes. So the movie follows Miles Morales 1 year after he got bitten by the spider, after he lost his uncle, who was also the Prowler. He has been trying to keep his city, New York. Is it Manhattan or New York City?
I don't know, honestly. New York. Just call it New York.
Let's just go with New York. We're sorry, people from New York.
New York. New York.
All right.
Stinky.
Okay.
Sorry, I can never let go of it.
Yeah. Okay. So Miles Morales is trying to keep his city, his hometown, safe from criminals. And he's been doing it for a year. And as it's going, we're seeing tidbits of him missing the Gwen Stacy, another Spider-Man from another dimension, and then Peter Parker, a different Spider-Man, not the one that was that died a year ago in his world, but another.
Basically, it's the
Spider-Man.
alternative spiders.
Yes.
He's missing them.
He's missing them because
Mhm.
they're the only ones that understand who he is.
Yeah, and along with that, like while he's missing them, we also see that he's kind of not as involved with his family because of all the crime fighting that he is like needing to do. So the beginning does start off with that. He is, well, actually, the beginning is different.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I fast forward. They're gonna hop to another dimension real quick.
All right, so the beginning begins with drum beats.
Oh yeah.
Ripples as we move from scene to scene. It's hot, intense, and we see Gwen Stacy. Stacy? No.
Yeah, Gwen
what's her name?
Stacy.
Yeah,
Gwen
Gwen
Stacy.
Stacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah, we see that. Yeah. So we start off with her perspective and her narration.
Yeah. And I want to say, if you guys don't read the comics, Gwen Stacy is this Gwen Stacy is an alternative from the usual Gwen Stacy, the one that
Typically dies.
typically dies.
Mhm.
But this Gwen Stacy, she's the one that got bit by the spider. Her friend Peter Parker, had actually, she's been trying to protect her friend Peter Parker,
Mhm.
and he took some what was it?
He ended up taking the role of
The lizard.
yeah, the alligator dude.
Yeah, the lizard. That's
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Really?
I think so.
I thought he was more of like an alligator
No.
person.
Not an alligator. The lizard. Lizard. Spider-Man. Yeah, the lizard.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of lame.
I
I'm sorry, but I thought it was more cool than that.
Yeah. You're thinking of Croc from Batman.
No. I never watched Batman, so
Oh,
I don't
then-
know about that.
Oh yeah, there is a lizard person in Batman too.
Yeah, but like the lizard in Spider-Man, doesn't he look more like a crocodile person?
Depending on where you're seeing it, more accurately, he looks like a giant. Like he looks like a mini.
No, I think you're right. He does look like a big lizard.
He looks like a big lizard. Yeah.
That's funky fresh.
Yeah.
But so yeah, instead Peter Parker takes the role of the lizard. He ends up I guess mutating himself
Yeah.
to get some sort of power, perhaps to be on equal footing.
He wanted to get revenge on a bully. And even though Gwen has been trying to protect him and stop everyone, Peter is like, no, it's not enough. I gotta take it to my own hands.
Mm-hmm.
So he turned himself into the lizard and attacked during prom, which led to his demise.
Yeah, either way, Gwen is going through a rough time. She lost her best friend, probably like her love as well. She's going through a rough patch of her dad, who is a
Police
part of the
officer.
police force, and he's like I think he's a captain too, or going to become captain.
He's going to be captain, yeah.
So, what is interesting about this film, and you know how in all like Spider-Mans, like there's usually something that ties all of them together, other than the fact that there's a Spider-Man. It's the fact that there's always some sort of loss, and I think that is a pretty big theme of the movies is about loss, and it's like, what do you do with it? How do you move on after loss, and what can you do with your life, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is something that is pretty essential to all of the like Spider-Man characters. And in turn, that leads us to the whole like other like big thing of the movie. Canon events.
Which makes so much more sense on TikTok now. Because I've been seeing that for like a month. And I was like, what is a canon event?
Mm-hmm.
Last week I found out.
Yeah. So I think the movie is really well done because of that, because it really does tie everything together. I think it does the whole like multiverse like thing pretty well, because I don't know, like the live action like Tom Holland like Spider movies, like have you seen them all?
I have.
I like the last one, but I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of messy. And so with this one, I feel like it's consistent. I think it follows its own logic pretty well. And I think it's just clean and cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they did a pretty good job with keeping the story like tightly contained within
Yeah.
its own rules. And yet the story itself is about breaking rules. So I think that's a very interesting, like almost like contradiction, like in the story and how they do the story.
Yeah. Like, oh my god. Like, I have to say, because I want to jump over to the canon offense thing. It just was a gut wrench every time for every single canon event that was explained, saying that, oh yeah, these things have to happen. I'm like,
The things that have to happen is that Uncle Ben dies.
or someone that has that role of Uncle Ben
Hmm.
has to die.
And then the captain
Captain.
of the police force, who is also kind of like somebody close, ends up dying to save somebody,
Usually a child.
usually a child, yeah. So those are like the two like canon events that we saw in this movie. Like almost consistent, like not almost, just consistent throughout all Spider-Man.
Yeah, like that is it's pretty much a like I guess with Miguel O'Hara's, he says it's pretty much this has to happen no matter what, or you destroy the universe. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that has to be the most painful thing. Like, you know this is going to happen to someone else, but you also know that if you try stopping it, you can end up destroying their world.
Yes, and that's how the big conflict of the movie like is created because Miles is an outlier.
Yeah, because so technically Miles is not supposed to exist as Spider-Man.
Yeah, and this is like, obviously a huge spoiler. We're in spoiler territory, but like that's the biggest reveal of the movie is that he was never supposed to get bit. The spider is from a different universe.
Universe that got transported to his universe.
Mm-hmm.
He got bit, and it's just pretty much saying, and like Miguel is pretty much saying, you're an anomaly. You cannot.
You're
exist.
you're not part of us. You're not a real Spider-Man because
Yeah.
of that. Yeah. So once again, it's like about breaking rules. And speaking of rule breaking, something I really enjoyed about the movie is the way they did the villain. I thought the villain was fun because at first, like just like the characters, like you don't think of him as an actual like evil, like a big evil. You think he's just like there for like comedy relief.
Yeah.
Up until he is no longer relief.
Yeah.
He is the big bad, and that's Spot, right? That's his name?
Yeah. Spot.
Yeah, so I really enjoy Spot and like the way like his progression like is shown. And it's like it's really cool because going back to the animation, like he's shown as, like I wouldn't say normal because he's a big, lanky, fleshy white dude with he doesn't have a face, he has dots. However, it's like throughout the movie, like he becomes more like almost like rougher, sketchier, up until he is literally like all over the place. And I think it's really cool how they were able to translate that through the animation and art style.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I adore this movie because there are multiple scenes where they utilize the animation art. Like for example, when like Gwen like was with her dad and you start to see
How the background starts to change based on the conversation.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like the every time the perspective like shifts or basically a different like same scene different shot there he goes it's a different shot there's also like a different like palette especially in Gwen's world like her world is full of colors that are like you don't see it in every day however every shot is different that's
Yeah.
beautiful and like with her father it's really cool because you see like the background starting to bleed out like all the colors they bleed out until like it almost becomes more abstracted. Like remember when the father was telling her like, like basically saying you have my support and you see that like behind him is like shapes and colors and it's you don't see the world around them anymore because it is just the two of them communicating and connecting.
Yeah, it's like their own little world. Like we're seeing what's going on in their world, how they're feeling. Because the backgrounds are, in a sense, their feelings. They're saying, "Hey,
it's their stage.
It's their stage.
Yeah,
they're telling, "Hey, this is how I want. I'm telling you what I'm I'm feeling, in a sense.
Yeah, so I thought it was beautifully done because I think you see that kind of like all across, but especially Gwen.
It's mostly Gwen's dimension that has that.
Yeah, and I just think it's really cool how every dimension is like so unique.
Yeah, like it has like every dimension has its own rules, but you can still see that there are still similarities between each one.
Mm-hmm. So it's once again the art is beautiful. If y'all like watch it, like I would recommend freaking going at it frame by frame. Like it is great.
Yeah, like, as soon as it gets released in streaming services or DVD, use the pause button a lot.
Mm-hmm.
All right, can we actually talk about some of the Spider-Mans?
Yeah, go for it.
Because I God, as a Spider-Man nerd, I saw so many references to my childhood.
Go for it. You have the floor.
Oh my God! Like first off, the cartoon Spectacular Spider-Man. The moment I saw that Spider-Man, I almost screamed in joy. If it wasn't for the movie theaters, because I was like, oh my God, either they had to get the original voice actor or they had to get someone who could sound just like the original,
Mhm.
because he did speak like some lines that were not in his show, and I was just like, oh my God, what? It was so amazing. And then there was the recent Spider-Man video game
Mhm.
version. He was like within the villains, like he was trying to figure out what was going on.
Mhm.
There was a cowboy Spider-Man, which I was
That
like,
one was fun because the horse was the one that shot the webs.
I was like, wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. I wasn't paying attention to that. I was paying attention to the chase scene. That was funny. I think it was the first cartoon Spider-Man, the 2D flat one that just somehow misses Miles. That was hilarious because I was like, oh my God, that would so happen.
It's the fact that like literally you have every Spider-Man possible,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's so cool because like there are so many like alternative versions and new stories, new characters being created with like within like comics.
Yeah.
And so like they literally have like every single one, and imagine like the work that goes into that.
Yeah, like, and oh my God, Hobbs. I love Hobbs.
Oh my gosh, we all love him.
Oh my God, I love him. So he's like Hobbs. I'm pretty sure Hobbs is the kind of character that's like I'll do what I want, and it's like, but at the same time, you can tell he's he's doing good things, but acting like he's not good. Like he's trying to be like kind of like in the gray. I also love the
Hobby.
Oh, that's his full name?
Hobie?
Hobbs. That's what they've been calling him, but is it Hobby?
Hobbert Hobie Brown.
Oh.
It's Hobie.
I think that's why that's probably why at one point he was like, no, you don't need to know my name. Just call me Hobbs.
I don't think he said Hobbs.
Or
think
someone
he's-
just started calling him Hobbs, and he's never wanted to reveal his full name.
Yeah, his name is Holbert.
Oh my God.
Or Hobbert.
I guess that's why he goes by Hobbs, because he's like, I don't want to be called by
Yeah.
that. But yeah, he was so good.
It's Hobie. Oh my god. I don't think anyone ever called him Hobbs.
No, they did call him Hobbs.
Did they?
Yeah. Gwen Stacy. Oh my God, what's his name? The Spider-Man.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but I forget what his name is. Let me
Yes.
look him up.
Yeah, him. And everyone was calling him Hobbs. Well, I also love the animation for Hobbs, like because the line he said, "Oh, I don't believe in consistency," and throughout the whole movie, you see that he is in slightly different colors, and like not a lot of different animations, but very very slight. But like you can still tell that he's not consistent, which that's hilarious
Mm-hmm.
because it's true. He says, "I'm not consistent."
I think it's just the fact that he is like, he's a true outlier himself. And you can see that through the animation and art style, because like he's probably one of the most complicated characters to like animate.
Oh
I would
yeah,
say.
yeah. And story wise, like I think he's like, good chaos or neutral chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'll help, but it's because he just wants to. Not
If it breaks the rules.
if it breaks the rules, he'll help. And he was And then like I just realized when Stacy got a new device to travel, I was like, oh, so that's why you were I was like pointing to Hobbs. I was like, this is why Hobbs was taking things. He knew something was going to go south in a sense, so he decided, you know what, I'm bailing. We're going to start our own society. I'm like, that's because he's not going to follow because there's already a tension between him and Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm pretty sure he's not going to keep following Miguel.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I think it's interesting because, like, Miguel is, like, he is. I wouldn't consider him a villain by any
No.
means. He's just an antagonist.
Yes.
And what I like about, like, the whole Spider Society thing is that none of them are bad guys.
No, they're trying to do what is good.
Yeah, however, it's a messy situation, and it's just. I just think it's cool. Like, there is tension throughout the movie. There is
Yeah.
so much energy in the movie.
This is how I would like to say about the whole thing. It's more like it's more like they're trying to fight the desire to have what they lost versus doing what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've seen in Miguel that he wanted to be reunited with his family again.
Mm-hmm.
But he saw what happens if he breaks canon events, if he tries to go do his own story, try to get what he lost. He loses it again.
Mm-hmm.
So to him, it's like, okay, if anyone does that again, they're going to go through the same pain.
Yeah, he's trying to protect everybody.
Yeah, in his own strict way, he is.
Mm-hmm.
It can come off as being very villainous, but sometimes, like the saying goes, the paved way to hell is made with good intentions.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to come up as a villain. You have to look like a villain to do something good.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
You need to be the one to do the stuff, to do the dirty work that nobody else wants to do.
Right.
So it's complicated. And, like, you can see that. There is, like, conflict in a lot of characters. There's conflict in Gwen because she is having to, like, be in the middle of, like, be on, like, Miguel's side of, like, she needs to do what she needs to do, but at the same time, Miles is her friend. She's in conflict with, like, whether to, like, stay strict to what she needs to do and, like, of what she wants to do.
Right.
So, and yeah, it's all about, like, having agency in your own life.
Yeah.
So I think that's really neat. And the ending was a shocker.
Yeah.
I think they ended it on such a crazy note. And of course, like, everyone should know if you've seen the movie, we see the alternative version of what Miles could have been.
We see the version where the spider came from, and the fact that spider was supposed to bite someone in that world.
There's no Spider.
There's no Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. But it goes to show that Miles was always intended to be the Prowler.
Yeah, because he looked up to his uncle so much, like he saw his uncle as a father figure than his own dad. So, like, even in the first movie, he was like spending more time with his uncle because his uncle understood him.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that, in that dimension, we're gonna call it 42, dimension 42, we see that without the spider, Miles does become the Prowler because he's like,
well, it's not. The spider wouldn't have bitten him, I don't think. It would have bitten the Spider-Man that was intended for that universe.
Right.
And I think the point is that Miles might have always, like, that would have been his path. If the other Miles, like, hadn't gotten bit, maybe he would have become the Prowler. Who knows?
yeah, that's true.
Or maybe it is because of, like, so much crime and a lack of Spider-Man and, like, his dad, like, passing away. Like, maybe that is why he became the Prowler. I don't know. Like, I'm sure we'll see more of, like, that backside story, like, in the next movie.
I want to say if they are kind of like, if that dimension and Miles' dimension is the same, most likely, regardless, Peter Parker, he probably would have been Spider-Man, but he would also have died regardless because he died in the first one.
Well, he died in that one because of Miles.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
not because of him, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And like in the other one, it's like Peter Parker probably exists, but he has no spider. So no Spider-Man means that, I mean, like as we saw it, there was fires all over the damn place.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm curious to see if we will be able to see like glimpses of that progression. So I'm very excited for the last film, and it's gonna be really cool. Is there anything else you want to talk about in terms of like what the pros of the movie or things you liked?
Pros were especially best boy. The boy that Spider-Man, Indian Spider-Man?
I think his name is Pavitr.
Pavitr. I think. We're sorry, we struggle with pronunciations. But yeah, he was like the moment he got on the screen, just my heart was captured.
Yeah, he was pretty cool.
He was-
I think he's a fun
He's
character.
best boy. I want to just protect him.
Yeah, so he's gonna have like I mean, he's gonna be, of course, in the next film. Like all of these characters are gonna be in the next film. Like we got to see Penny Parker. I'm excited to see her.
Oh.
And she went through her own like canon event.
Do you know what happened?
If I remember correctly, I did a little bit of research, but basically it was the whole like Evangelion-esque thing, and somebody like had the venom and died.
Yeah.
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 I don't really know much else about it though.
Also, the person who is her Aunt May also died.
Shit,
Yeah.
that's rough.
Yeah. She got Shinji'd. She is. Yeah, she got Shinji'd.
Mm-hmm. No, it's gonna be really cool to see like how all these characters, like, because like a year has passed, they went through their own canon events or whatever else. So it's interesting to see like how everybody's like what will be the result. So
Yeah. Especially, I think there is a sense it's going to be a Spider-Man Civil War coming up soon in the next movie.
I don't know, because like once again, like I don't know if it's gonna be like a civil war, because at the end of the day, like nobody is necessarily like a bad guy except for like Spot.
True.
Like Spot, like he's just not.
Yeah. But
However, it's like I think the conflict, like I think that'll still be a conflict where they are trying to like go against each other, but I think it's mostly gonna be between the two Miles. I think.
so yeah, I think there's going to be. I'm guessing there's going to be 3 conflicts: Miles versus Miles, Spider-Mans who want to follow canon events versus Spider-Mans who want to make their own stories,
Mm-hmm.
and then Spot. So Spot's going to be the big issue. Like that's the whole. Yeah, we gotta. That's the end. That's the end. We gotta focus on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, the beginning of the movie, I'm pretty sure for the next movie, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Miles versus Miles because they're
Yeah.
because like our Miles, he's like saying, "Hey, I need to go back to my world to save my dad," and the other Miles is like, "Oh, okay, well, too bad, you're not going."
Yeah, so I'm curious to see how that's gonna go, because like what are like 42 Miles? Like what is his like motive?
I mean, if it's gonna be something similar to what Miguel did, it probably is that he wants to go see his dad.
Probably.
And now I don't know what he's gonna do to the dad, but it could go either way.
Yeah, but then again, he did say like our dad. You mean your dad? So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I think. I mean, I of course I have like a lot of thoughts. I could probably talk about this movie all day, but kind of it for me. It was good all the way around. The characters, the stories, the progression, the writing,
the animation,
the dialogue. I thought it was good all the way around. I'd be curious to hear if anyone had like other thoughts of maybe what didn't work, because like I honestly can't think of any.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear like I don't know that perspective, because I just can't think of it. So yeah. So are you ready to move on?
Yeah, it's time.
So unfortunately, like even though this movie was really good, it took years for this movie to come out. Like about like what, 4 to 5 years?
So the first movie came out in
2018.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 5 years.
5 years. So the movie took 5 years, and there was a lot of like effort and energy and time that was put into this movie. I mean, the art itself, the animation itself is revolutionary. Like I said, like Rainey said, it's a mixture of all these different, like, mediums, like
Yeah.
2D, 3D, some live action. A lot of love was put into it. However, unfortunately, there is a bit of controversy about this, mostly due to the animation staff.
Oh yeah. So if you guys don't know, um, in pre-production, no, in pre-production there was something going on, and then when it was time to make the production, go to the production stage, there were still issues that were continuing from pre-production, like the storyline. Some
Mhm.
storyboards were like not adding up well, from what you told me.
Yeah, so basically, it's from what I've gathered, and I'm not like well knowledgeable about this. However, the biggest thing is that there was no final say. Nothing was rock solid, and because of that, there were had to be constant revisions. Even at the like last stages of like rendering, they had to like make revisions like 5 times in a row. And if you're like at that point of like like the creation, like you really shouldn't be doing that. Everything should be solid. The only thing that you would have to revise is maybe like actual like content itself, like the animation, the art, but not like the story or stuff like that. So basically, it's because of all of these revisions, and they had to be like, it had to be put at work for like 11 hours a day, 7 days a week. So they were under like unsustainable, like, it was a bad environment for the animators.
Yeah, and take it from someone who does have a degree in how productions work, from pre-production, production, and post-production. All of this should have been fixed in pre-production.
Hmm.
And I can say for a fact that if there is ever a chance where pre-production has to be extended, it is always recommended to have pre-production extended, because if you don't and it gets into production and these issues are coming up again, then that's going to start making your team not want to work on this project.
Yeah, it's going to lose morale. It's not going to be efficient, and there's just going to be a lot of issues, like you said. And so it's like, who knows how the next movie is going to turn out? I'm sure it's going to be beautiful, but at the end of the day, it's not sustainable, like working under these conditions. And I mean, I personally would not mind waiting as long as I need to for the
Yeah.
next movie. But at the same time, it's like it could be avoided if, they actually got their shit like fixed to begin with.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, that is a bit, it has led to a bit of controversy, and who knows how it'll turn out because, I mean, we've already been having like a writer's strike.
And
So
if this continues, this will go to an animator strike.
yeah, I mean, in theory,
In theory, but from the way this looked, this can be saying, hey, if this continues, we're going to have another strike going on. And then entertainment is going to start slowing down even more. So it's like,
mhm.
I don't want to say that anything much more negative about the crew, because I know a lot of the people in the crew were just trying to do their best.
Yeah,
But I want to say that let's take this as a lesson, like saying, if you are you struggling with pre-production stuff, and you are slowly going to get into production very soon, it is always, like I said, recommended push pre-production even further, so that way you have enough time to get everything revised, enough time to make sure that you know what you want. That way, in production, you're not changing it like every 10 seconds or so. I don't know what's going
mhm.
on, but like from what I heard, we're changing it even during production. And of course, don't have your crew who are going to work on it in the production stage, wait on you. Tell them
Yes.
that, hey, I don't know when this is going to happen. Please find work to sustain yourself until further notice.
Yeah, and like a big part of that is like once they did get to the production stage, they pushed them to their limits because they were like, had to be in a hurry to get it.
Yeah.
So I mean, honestly, I just wish that the crew just had more breathing space to be able to, like, to create in peace. Because, like, when you're trying to create, when, when you're stressed and you have to like be on a hustle.
Yeah.
It's difficult to get good quality. And it's like it's great because they were able to achieve this beautiful like quality movie. But yeah, I know it's not a good thing. So
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that it's gonna get better.
Yeah, and like of course, I definitely also want what happened to Across the Spider-Verse to start having that lesson be taught to other animation companies,
Mhm.
like places like Rooster Teeth or international like SANG. We're
Mhm.
saying, hey, you push these animators too much, they are not going to want to continue working.
Yeah, and animators are so important.
Yeah.
Like they do crazy stuff and like they're so creative. They're amazing. They're great. And unfortunately, like animators haven't had like the best treatment in a very, very long time. They were always like undermined as like, in their circle,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Because people just say like, "Oh, you just make cartoons," and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but they're the reason why we're able to get better stuff in the animation aspect.
Yeah, like they're literally creating art and like with this movie, I genuinely think it is like revolutionary.
Yeah, it is.
So it's how can you create a movement when people are too damn tired?
Yeah,
So yeah, so that's kind of it. I don't really know too much about it, so that's all I can say at least.
yeah.
But yeah, here's hoping that it gets better. I look forward to the release of the next one. I hope they take their time.
I hope that the production studios learn from this, saying, "Hey, I really hope they learn from this and not to do this again, because then if this
Yeah.
happens again, this is going to become um
It's
an
just gonna be escalated,
it's going to be
basically.
escalated even more. And like again, we already have enough. We already have to. We already have the Writers Guild doing strikes, and they are because just like animators, writers, are also the people who create everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, don't push people who basically created everything to their breaking points.
And also, it's kind of funny because I feel like I can relate to that because in my job, like, I am basically ground zero. I am creating.
You are the person that gets the thing done.
Yeah, like I'm creating the sales orders, like I am creating it, and yet we get to know shit. So it's like I get it, and it sucks. So hopefully, yeah, that's all I can say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't have anything else to say. Do you?
I don't. I really don't. Like I want to give the movie A plus plus.
A plus plus, like it'll marinate in my mind forever.
And it's oh my god, I need to get the digital release or the DVD, so that way I can have that juice to create that fan fiction I've put in the back burner for 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. That's how long it took to make
Oh yeah.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you so much for joining us in this episode. I really hope that if y'all haven't seen it, fuck you. You should have seen it before getting these spoilers. I hope we didn't spoil too much. And I mean, there is a big spoiler. It was a pretty big spoiler.
Yeah, some big spoilers.
But it's a really great movie, and I would love to hear thoughts, what you liked, what you might have disliked, even though I cannot imagine it. I would love to know. I'd love to hear about it. Like it should definitely like have this movie be an opportunity for conversation about art.
Oh yeah. And I will say, right, who's your favorite Spider-Man?
Who is your favorite Spider-Man?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I suppose
Yes.
I was trying to think of something witty to say. However, I ain't no Spider-Man.
No, we're not.
Wait, what would your spider persona be?
I don't know. I wanted to be ironic that my spider son is scared of spiders.
Oh, I had a character like that. He was like a Hero Academia OC,
Mm-hmm.
where she was like had like part cockroach, but she hated cockroaches.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
Yeah, she had like the wings and the little antenna, so she didn't like look terrible, like gross, but she like fucking hates it.
Yeah, well, that's my spider Sona.
Lol.
Spider woman who's scared of spiders.
There you go. Make her afraid of heights too.
Yeah.
Make her like completely average because she just doesn't utilize her powers.
Yeah, pretty much.
She's like, yeah, I'm too scared to use them, so I'm perfectly fine with just living my life as I am.
Yeah, in a sense.
Or she could use it for like stupid stuff.
That's very true. She can also do that.
Alright, guys. Hey, there's another idea. Tell us what your spider Sona would be.
Yeah.
Alright, well, y'all have a good afternoon.
Have a good evening.
That was very formal sounding. Have a good night.
And have a good morning.
Bye.
Bye-bye.